could rap. I restarted because I thought I fell off the map. You could rap. Just don't fucking spit some stupid shit like he does. Alright, we're getting somewhere. Alright. Foundry is one of the small handful of race maps on Diabotical. In my honest opinion, the map is difficult, more so than a lot of other maps. Foundry requires you to learn how to strafe without the help of slick movement, which is heavily used in Frost Run, the map we previously covered. In today's episode of What Did I Do Differently, I will teach you what I did to lower my PB down from the horrific 34.459 second run you just saw, to my much faster 25.76 second run. What did I do differently? Let's find out. Hey, I'm SniperKH, and welcome back to What Did I Do Differently. In today's video, we'll be covering Foundry. There are a few things I want to say before we get into this video. First of all, thank you so much for the support on the last episode. That video did so much better than I expected, so I am super thankful. Second of all, throughout this video, I will sometimes be using the term super fast run. A sub 26 is what I define as a super fast run. With this map having no slick movements on the ice, it is difficult to reach a comparatively fast time. However, comparing times between maps is pointless. Finally, it has come to my attention that 96% of those who watch my videos are currently unsubscribed. These videos do take a long time to make, so I'd greatly appreciate it if you would subscribe to my channel if you enjoy it. Also, be sure to follow me on Twitter, Twitch, and Instagram. All of my social media links will be in the description below. With all that being said, let's begin with the first section, the starting. We begin here, the starting area of the map. Initially, there are two beginning strats you can choose from. Strategy number 1 is the one you see me using here, just a simple strafe through the starting path. I avoid turning my character too much because the final stretch will give you a great boost of speed. Something you'll notice whenever I use this strat is that I am strafing methodically and not too forcefully. This form of strafing allows you to build a lot of speed. If executed properly, it is possible to leave this area with 750 to 800 speed, which is a really healthy speed to be at. The second strat is the one you see my friend Rage use. Rage goes up the starting lift, then uses the rail on the left to gain some great momentum. He typically leaves the area by strafing, similar to how I strafe in my method. So between these strategies, which one will result in a quicker pace? When you compare both methods, you will notice that the strategy Rage uses results in more speed, thus making it a more worthwhile opening. The only issue with his strategy, however, is the difficulty. Similar to the beginning of Frost Run, I have issues executing this method consistently. Consequently, I prefer the first method as it is a simple strafe through the door. As soon as you pass through the first door, you will encounter two doors to pass through. For optimization, it is best to take the door on the right. Choosing the right door will create a straightforward path, making it easier to gain some additional speed. Once you reach the end of the hallway, exit through the doorway to begin the next part of the run. Upon exiting the doorway, you will find yourself at the beginning of a zigzag pathway. This is the next section of this run, and there is a handy technique that allows you to skip a large portion of the area. This area is also known as the crate jump, and is performed at the start of this section. The jump is executed by staying on the right side of the railing on your way to the crate. Then as you get closer to the crate, strafe towards the railing. If performed correctly, you will launch yourself into the air, reaching unprecedented speeds and skipping roughly half of this section. However, a different, less fortunate outcome is possible, where instead of shooting upwards, you just shoot forward with extra speed. This outcome is not a run killer, so you don't need to worry if you have this outcome, rather than the other one. Once you land, continue through the area using the railings for extra speed if needed, and advance towards the next area. After the zigzag path, there are the floating platforms. While I love to say this part is simple, I find about 90% of my runs ending here for a couple of reasons. More on that in a bit. You begin this area by rounding the final corner that is connected to the zigzag area, where you'll see that there are 5 platforms to cross. Don't let these platforms intimidate you though, because if you enter this area with roughly 1,000 units per second, crossing the platforms will be a breeze. You'll want to get to the platforms normally. Before you reach the first platform, you should strive towards the railing like I do in the gameplay. This will give you a slight jump, which should help you reach the certain platform. Said platform you want to land on is the second one on the right. This platform is the most optimal because of the flashy shortcut it provides. Once you reach the platform, you should look to your right and slip in between the pipe and the railing like I do here. However, before we carry on with this section, I do want to clarify something. Let's say you enter this area with 1,050 units per second or more. Traveling at this speed will enable you to achieve a speed great enough to overshoot the platform. If you do have 1,050 or more speed, you should aim for the final platform and then take the pathway as normal. After having passed the floating platforms, you should be on the route normally taken at this point. Once you arrive at this staircase here, use the railing to the left of it to pass by the stairs. Finally, take the right lift and do a slight strafe like I am here to gain some additional speed. This will lead you into the final area. Everything you have done thus far has led to this. The ending can be a stressful part of your run, something I learned the hard way. Lucky for you, I have done the final stretch so many times and can give you several tips to make this part a cakewalk. Once you have landed from the lift, you should start strafing towards the door, making certain that you're leaving this room with roughly 850 to 900 units per second. From the doorway, there are 2 paths available to you. You'll want to take the path on the right as a quicker alternative to get to the end, mainly because it gives you enough room to strafe. And unlike the path on the left, there is no hole in the ground that would otherwise cause you to fall if you aren't careful enough. During this final stretch, aim for 950 to 1025 units per second, and then follow the pathway towards the ending crate, and just like that, you're done with the run. I have learned a lot from running Foundry. I spent most of my time learning Frostrun and just assumed that this map would be as easy to learn as Frostrun. Yeah, I learned that it was the opposite really fucking quickly. This is not a map to take lightly, so you will want to spend more time learning strafe patterns and all of that while running it. As I did with episode 1, I'll leave the timestamps to each section of this video in the description below, so you can go back and learn each area at your own pace. I also want to give a quick shout out to Rage, thanking him for contributing to this video by providing some gameplay. Without his assistance, it would have taken much longer for this video to get out. Next, I'll leave a link to the Diabotical Racing Discord server in the description below, where you can chat with other Diabotical racers and submit your runs to be on the leaderboards. Finally, be sure to follow all of my social media platforms, all of which will be in the description below, and be sure to check out the first episode of What Did I Do Differently if you haven't already. And with that being said, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.